Our next esteemed panelist, Tim Poole, is the head of live news at Vice Media. If you've been hiding under a rock and don't know, Vice was founded in 1994, produces an HBO news show, as well as the popular Vice.com website. Tim's unique style of interactive broadcast journalism exists at the intersection of social and mainstream media. I stole that from his bio. I just think that's so eloquently written, I might have to use it. As a producer for Vice, he's covered major events around the world in places like Istanbul, Cairo, Brazil, and he's known for pushing the boundaries of journalism by consistently using new technologies, live streaming aerial drones, mobile devices, and I believe he has a Google Glass demonstration in store for us. His groundbreaking coverage of the 2011 Occupy Wall Street protest was picked up by Reuters, the New York Times, NBC, Al Jazeera. You'll see his work in many places. He was a nominee to Times 100 in 2012 and a recipient of the Shorty Award for Best Journalist in Social Media in 2013. It's my pleasure to bring you Tim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Man, that makes me sound really, really important, I guess. I certainly don't feel that way. But so the first thing I'm going to do before I say anything is just hope this works. Because I'm told this is really cool. Let's see if it loads. How do I scroll down on this thing? There we go. So you might be wondering what you're seeing right now. You're looking at what my watch can see. So this is my watch, and it's actually live broadcasting to the internet. Anyone in the world can see this, and that's why you can see my hand, and I'm holding it like this. So this is wearable technology. This is the Waite TrueSmart, and I think doing a live broadcast from a wearable device sort of sets a good standard of how powerful it is. This particular watch has its own SIM card. It can run HSPA+. We call that in the United States 4G. It's not really 4G, but at least not for the rest of the world. But I play with gadgets and gizmos. As you heard before, I do live news, and I'm also a host for Vice Media. The Google presentation, I was laughing because they used one of the docs that I worked on. But I wanted to start by talking a bit about wearable technology, what I think about it, what I think about Google Glass and smartwatches. When the smartphone started getting popular, particularly with the iPhone, when you had this interface that allowed you to easily access the internet, when cellular technology started getting to the point where we were getting over a megabit download rates, so this is CDMA technology or the iPhone 3G, all of a sudden, everyone could go on the internet anywhere. And that was revolutionary. And I don't hear people talk about it enough. Because before that, you could go on the internet when you were at a computer, at a cafe, you had your laptop, or you were at home. And then with mobile, everyone can just go on the internet whenever, they can tweet, they can do whatever, wherever. So I think wearable technology is trying to do that again. But I'm not convinced that it's going to. We hear a lot about Google Glass wanting to be the next step in connectivity and get you over that, get you the more up-to-date information, the quick things that you need to see but you don't need a phone for. Smartwatches, same thing. It's a level of convenience that I don't feel pushes the boundary enough to make it actually worth getting. So I've used the smartwatch for a lot. It's kind of incredible that this is a fully functioning Android cell phone. I can make phone calls on it. I can visit websites, but I can do that on my phone. With Google Glass, there's a really good question. So I used Google Glass last year in Turkey during the Gezi Park protests, primarily because to me this is all research. All the gadgets and everything that I work with, it's researching what can I do with a new piece of technology, how far can it go, and I've duct taped some crazy things together to make crazy things happen. When I looked at Google Glass, the first thing I thought was journalism. It's probably the best use case, at least in my opinion, because if I need a high-definition photo, if I need to take a picture or a video of my friends, there's no reason I can't pull up my phone and just, I don't even know where my phone is now. Well, I lost my phone. Is it on the floor? Oh, it's on the floor. Okay, well, that's fine. See, I even lose it because I'm so, okay. You can easily pull out your phone, adjust the photo, adjust the device, take your picture, and it's good quality. So the difficult thing with Google Glass is that you can't align the photo before you take it. You take the picture, and then it shows you what you've gotten. The quality is a little bit. It's a 5 megapixel 720p, so it's relatively good. But I thought, what what profession, what task, where do you want to get the information as fast as possible, send it out as fast as possible, and the quality is less important than the content. And that was Google Glass. So you can, I'm in Turkey, and I can take a photo within a split second by just saying, okay, Glass, take a picture. It happens, and then I can tap share, and it's out. It doesn't need to be the most beautiful picture in the world, because what I'm trying to do is tell people what's happening. So that, to me, was the best use case. I was really excited for being able to do live broadcasting. However, we discussed earlier, it overheats very quickly. But it still seems to be really interesting to a lot of people. The one thing I will say, just as I move away from wearables, just to end it, there's an app called Word Lens for Google Glass, and it's actually on iPhone as well. And you can point your camera at an image of text, and it turns that image in a foreign language into English. So when I'm looking at a sign in Spanish, I can say, okay, Glass, translate, and then when I look through Glass, I see English. So far, that's the most revolutionary thing that I've seen with it. I think when more software comes out, it's going to be, I just can't even imagine what's going to happen. When I was in Brazil, when I was in Turkey, I use it primarily for instant translation, just so I can stand there and say, I need this word right now. But wearables are fun. I still think smartphones are much better for now. But I think there's a software problem. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is, for me, what got me into all of this, the tools and the access, was a Samsung Galaxy phone. One of the first devices with touch interface, similar to the iPhone. And I was able to post photos, videos. I was able to tweet on the ground in New York during Occupy Wall Street. And I was also able to do a live broadcast just with a smartphone. So there was a moment where I was in, Michael Moore wanted to do a live interview with MSNBC, and they said, we can't get close enough to the stock exchange because we have this huge truck and this satellite dish, so this is all you have. And I went, oh, actually, I'm good. I'm holding up a phone. And Michael was like, cool, let's go do it. So I just, with my smartphone, was able to go down there, and he chose my smartphone over their big, bulky truck. Granted, the quality wasn't that good. But it's the connectivity, it's the software of mobile that I think we haven't seen the full potential of yet. So I'm actually working on new tools, new software for journalists, and I think one of the issues is that we have a really, really powerful little computer in all of our pockets, and there's still a lot of people using laptops, but smartphones can do most of this. I think the issue is it's an interface. Creating a way that people can easily do the task they need to do. When I look at mobile technology, I'm not convinced we have the best software yet. We have all of these different social platforms that all do very similar but slightly different things, and it seems to be based off of the popularity of the app and not so much the entirety of the tool. But I'm looking at how powerful an Android phone is, and I'm wondering why we aren't using it for more. Let me pull out something for you guys here. This backpack is full of crazy gadgets and gizmos. But this box right here attaches to any camera with an HDMI output, and it's a live encoder. So I can take a DSLR, I can take any camcorder, I can plug HDMI into it and broadcast live. This thing does it all. It's the live stream box, and it's really great. But I can do the same thing with my iPhone. I can use my Android or my iPhone to do a live broadcast as well. But there's the software barrier. There's, just for whatever reason, we aren't pushing hard enough. So I don't want to talk too much about this next thing, and then I'll lightly go over some drone stuff. But in terms of software, I'm working on many different things. This is one of them. One of the problems that I've seen with social media, and there was a big lawsuit about it, is context and ownership, copyright for media. So I'm working with a few partners to create an app. It's done. It'll be launching soon. This is going to allow you to, with one touch, have any text field, your location, your timestamp, and a logo into your photos. So the average app that allows someone to do this takes seven taps. And that's why no one's doing it. So instead, photos are being ripped, stolen. Companies are sending out journalists all around the world, and the photos are going viral, and no one knows where it came from. And no one, I mean, most people don't care except for that company that just put a $100,000 budget into going to cover breaking news, and no one knows it was their reporters that put it out there. So when I look at social media, I think more often breaking news and the news people want to get is going to come through these channels and not necessarily through websites. Everyone's talking about the cool new websites they're doing with the cool new technology, but I still primarily get my news from Twitter and Reddit. So what I'm trying to figure out is how can we answer that question? When you can answer the question, why would someone rather go to a social network than to your news website, you'll have a really good chance at becoming the next big network. But until then, I am working to make sure that we can provide real value for the companies that are investing in this, that there's some way we can have social media be a real platform for news and actually have something that's tangible, that a company can say they get real value from. And the last thing that I just wanted to lightly talk about is drone stuff before Matt comes up and flies it and impresses everybody. The one thing that I always want to get across with drones is that we always see the flying ones because they're the coolest, but there are underwater drones being used for monitoring. The best example is the tuna drone. That it's wired and it goes around and it swims around the hulls of ships looking for damage. There's ground drones. So I've actually played with the rover. I don't know if Matt's familiar with it, but it's a ground-based and it's got a little swivel camera. But the thing that seems to be the coolest for everybody is the flying drone. And so the last thing I want to say is, again, thank you everyone for listening to me, and thank you for letting me be here. But you'll get a lot more out of me by just coming up to me and asking me more direct questions about the slew of gadgets and gizmos that I have in my backpack, which I can more specifically, focus on what you guys want to do. So by all means, come talk to me, and if you want to try glass, I'll go do it. But without further ado, let's fly some robots.